Continue here now. Professor Jansen, Jonathan Jansen has been elected as a member of the esteemed American Academy of Arts and Sciences. Jansen is a distinguished professor in education at Stellenbosch University and president of the Academy of Science of South Africa. His election to the American Academy of Arts and Sciences places him in the company of eminent past and present members, including Martin Luther King and Colin Powell, among many others. The Academy is also an independent research center convening leaders from across disciplines, professions and perspectives to address significant challenges. Founded in 1780, the Academy honors excellence and its members represent innovative thinkers in every field and profession. Jansen will be formally inducted at a ceremony in Cambridge, Massachusetts on the 20th of September 2023. Our reporter Mariska Botha reports.
We're talking to you on one of the last warm days of autumn here in Cape Town, and we had the singular privilege to speak to Professor Jonathan Jansen, who was elected to the American Academy of Arts and Sciences. Let's get straight into it and chat to the man himself. Good morning, Professor, and thank you so very much for your time. First of all, congratulations. And what did that feel like when you heard you were elected?
Man, it was very similar to when the Blue Bulls won the final it's an unbelievable honor, unexpected. And, because it's an honorific society, it means that somewhere in the world there are other, scholars, scientists who think that what you do is worthwhile. So enormously honored, enormously humbled, but completely unexpected.
And you will be traveling to America later this year. Tell us a bit about that.
That's correct. So there are 2 days set aside for the first day is sort of the induction, where they tell you what it means to be an Academy member, and then you'll be there with this year's elected members from around the world, very prominent people. I'm looking forward to being among them. And then the next day is the formal ceremony where you sign in as a member and you just participate in the celebration of membership. So I'm looking forward to that.
I'm just going to read a little bit about what they say they are. The Academy's elected members join with other experts in the cross-disciplinary efforts to produce reflective, independent and pragmatic studies that inform public policy and advance the public good. What does that mean to you, and what you hope the work will be that you will be doing as part of this Academy?
Yeah, so, I think the Academy awards you with membership to continue doing what you've been doing so far. And for me, as you probably know from my research and my writing, it is to take what is often very complex issues in educational policy, educational research, and make that public in a way that enable people to act. So, for example, my most recent book on corruption in higher education in universities, it's a book written for the general public. It's based obviously on a lot of research and theory and almal die dinge, but actually what you want to do is to make sure that the average person picking up a book can see, oh, so this is the state of higher education, this is how much corruption there is, and this is what we can do about it. So I think that's what this award is about. It's not for sort of either egocentric or very esoteric research. It's about making sure that your research has an impact on how people think, but also on how governments behave.
And I think it's fair to say that globally, the way education is conducted is changing and must change. Not so if we look at, everybody keeps speaking about the 4th industrial revolution, where we're going into a changing worlds that we don't even know will exist in 50 years. So is it fair to say that will be part of the discussion, what education looks like now and what it should look like in the years to come?
No, absolutely. I mean, our role as scholars is to make sure that what happens in the broad world of education, technology, development and change is connected to, first of all, how people think about those issues, but also how they prepare through university training, development support to take on those challenges in a way that is ahead of time. So the beauty of being a scholar is to be able to anticipate the future and to do that through research that is grounded in not only where people are at the moment, but where world trends are going, as I said, technology being the obvious example. So yeah, I hope to continue to make that contribution.
And I see that also part of the work that you do, it's because it's basically a global think tank of scholars, is to inform policy making. Is that the hope going into an electee of this academy?
Absolutely, and you must think of policy not just as something that a national government does, but something that happens transnationally. So every single book I've written is written with, through conversations, through dialogue, through visits to colleagues in other parts of the world. So whatever I might have written about corruption, I'm using the recent example, in higher education, I've already had 15, 20 requests from around the world. Can you come and do something similar or write something pertinent that also speaks to our national context? So yeah, I think if your research is what we call generative, if it leads to other things, other interests, other countries becoming excited about what you're doing, then I think, you're working in the spirit of the academy.
So talking to you now, corruption in education is not singular to South Africa. It's a global issue.
It's a hugely global issue. In South Africa, we hang out our dirty linen, quite quickly, and we have got great investigative journalists in this country. So, absolutely. I mean, issues of corruption in higher education, certificate fraud, for example, is a global phenomenon. And so it is important to connect whatever you think you're doing in South Africa to what is happening in other countries. And that is one of my big interests since I was a student, which is comparative work, and international work. So absolutely, this is what makes it exciting, is on the one hand to be able to intellectually connect with colleagues doing similar work around the world, at the same time to have South Africa be a leader, a contributor to those debates through the research we do.
Latching onto that, why do you think it's important that we have these global think tanks?
I think one of the measures, I work in universities most of my life, one of the measures of the success of your work, whether it is academic work or sports or anything, is how good you are in relation to your peers. Because otherwise you'll never know. If you simply playing soccer in South Africa, or you're simply doing academic research in South Africa, you will never know how good you are or how relevant your work is until we call this thing peer review. You put your best work, make it available to colleagues around the world, and they will tell you, this meets the standard. Better news still, this exceeds the standard for how we think about complex and intractable problems, social problems, educational problems. So absolutely, this is the value of the recognition coming from another country.
And lastly, how long will you be a member of this academy? And what do you hope to achieve in your time there?
Well, this is lifetime membership, so you can't lose your membership, and so you must have seen the names of famous people. They are long dead, but they are still valued by the academy for the work that they've done. So that's something nice. It's not something you must work to maintain. It's simply something that I believe, for me, the award is an encouragement to keep doing what you do, and in my case, to even try and do it better than before. And so enormous honor to be recognized in this way.
Thank you very much. That was Professor Jonathan Jansen, who was elected to the American Academy of Arts and Sciences. And as you heard there, his expertise in the field of education will be invaluable on the global stage. And he's certainly going to continue to do his work in this particular field as part of the Academy, but also outside of that. And certainly from the SABC, we congratulate you on this great honor, and we're sure he will fly the South African flag very high.